Hello crafters, I'm Jan B and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made these two cards using the You Move Me stamp set and the Move Me Thinlits. There's the choice of the butterfly and the hummingbird. The butterfly, as you can see, moves, the wings flutter, and I've done happy birthday on the inside. And the other one is a hummingbird, which I think is quite a bit more dramatic looking than the butterfly. But again, I've done the same on the inside. A couple of things I'm going to change. One is it's going to be a masculine card, so my colours are going to be more masculine, but it means that I'm not going to be doing the butterflies. So I'm going to start off by using one of our background stamps on here, and as I'm going to be doing the hummingbird, I'm going to use the sheet music background stamp, which I thought was quite appropriate. And the other thing I'm going to change is I'm going to change this little tab here. It's been made with our tab punch, so it's on both sides, but I do find that at times it gets caught like that. So I'm going to cut it in half but round it, and I'm only going to put it on the front of the card. I'm not going to put it on the back, and I'm not going to punch the little finger notch thing out either. So let's see how that all goes. So the colours I'm going to be using are Tranquil Tide and Lemon Lime Twist. So I'll start off telling you the card pieces that you're going to need. The card base is 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored by 4 1/8 of an inch. And that is 21 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres, scored and folded at 10.5 centimetres. And then 2 pieces of Very Vanilla, which measure 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, which is 10.25 by 14.25 centimetres. Then a piece of Lemon Lime Twist, which measures 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 10 by 14 centimetres. And then for the actual slider part, you need some Very Vanilla, which measures 3 3/8 inches by 5 1/4 inches, which is 8.5 by 13.3 centimetres. And then you'll need a 2-inch square, both of Very Vanilla and Tranquil Tide. 2 inches by 2 inches is 5 by 5 centimetres. And then you just need a scrap of Tranquil Tide. Now I think what I need to do first is I'm going to do the background stamp on here, and then I'm going to do the sentiment on here, and then it's the big shot. That stamping we can come back to. Yeah, that's all we need to do for the time being. So the stamp set I'm using, first of all, for the background stamp, I'm using sheet music. And for this sentiment, I am using the Hanging Garden, and I'm using this to one of the loveliest people I know. I still think that's okay to put on a man's card. So there's that for that one, and where's my big stamp gone? Oh, here we go. And this one. Okay, so let's do this bit first, and this I am going to be stamping in the top colour, so that's going to be Lemon Lime Twist. Am I still in screen? Just about. So I'm just going to pop this right in the centre. There we go. I'll just check that the die will actually cut that okay. And I've gone a little bit wonky, which is par for the course for me. Yep, that's alright, that'll work. So that's die cutting, that's die cutting. And the sheet music, I'm also going to use lemon lime twist. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to stamp it off first. So let me get myself a scrap of paper. So ink it up, stamp it off, and then move it over and bring that one over. Yep, that's it. Okay, so make sure that I'm fully in camera. Yep, that's it. Good, good, good. Okay, so I'm going to take the ink to the stamp as it is such a big stamp. Right, that should be more than enough. So just bring this over. Don't want to take too much off. So bring this back again, pop this on, make sure it's straight as it's got the lines on the stamp. And just make sure that you're holding it so that the cardstock doesn't move underneath. So that should be fine. Yes, lovely. Okay, so that's going to be, by the time that's dried, that's going to be really beautiful. Just remember which way up it is. Trust me. That way. Yeah, that's it. Let me just put a pencil mark on that. I'm not a musician, as you can tell. Right, so if I move that one out of the way. And I'm going to bring my big shot up. Let's move these two over. I don't want those to get crushed. Right, now to die cut the window out of my front sheet, I am going to be using the straightforward platform with the thin die adapter. Okay, so that's normal platform, thin die adapter, and then it's the precision base plate. And then I only need one cutting mat with that. So what I'm going to do, with this facing the right way, the dies that come with this bundle called Move Me Thinlits. Okay, I'm going to use that one. But let me show you the stamp set too. Okay, so in the stamp set, that's for the butterfly if you want to do the moving butterfly, and that's for the hummingbird if you want the moving hummingbird. But you've also got these stamps as well, and most of these have dies to go with them. For example, these flowers, they have the dies, and then these little funny things here also have dies, but you can stamp directly into the middle. It's like the stamens of the flowers. You've got this die here, which will die cut the butterfly, but it will leave it attached to your cardstock. If you want it cut out totally, then you cut that one around your cutout. You've got a small butterfly there, and this is two-step, whereas you've got a solid one there, and then you would use that darker one on top. I think, and that one there is if you wanted to do like a finger notch at the top which I don't. I'm not, as I say, I'm not going to do that this time. This one, I'm really not sure what it is. It looks like a bird that way, like that's the beak, and that's, well, maybe a duck or something. But I'm really not sure. If anybody does know, I'd be interested to find out. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not measuring or anything, I'm just going to do that face down, and I'm hopefully getting it straight. But what I'm trying to achieve is that I have the same gap on that side, and down there. The way I find it is easiest to do this is I crank it through the Big Shot twice, that's once forward and once back. And it is a bit stiff on the first time, and then it probably will come out okay from there, but what I like to do is just to tip it, or turn it rather, as far as I can, just making sure my 2 points, this one and this one, don't come off the edge of the precision base plate, and then I crank it through twice more. Right, I will show you getting the pieces out in a moment. I just want to do these other 2 pieces, which need my normal magnetic platform. And for these, I am using the layering, what did I just do with that die that I've taken out? Oh, here it is. I'm using the stitched shape framelits, and I'm using number 2 on the square dies. And I'm also going to be using the layering squares framelits, and I'm using the scalloped square number 5. I always count from the smallest first, smaller the number, smaller the die, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's that one. That's good. And then this one. Not going to be much wastage there, is there? Let's put, that's the other one for there. This is my one. Did that move? No, I don't think so. Here we go, that's fine. Okay, so that's the stitched shape framelit, die cut rather. And that's the scallop square. Right, so Big Shot can go away now. Oops, sorry about that. So to remove this one, let's straighten myself up again. You should find that all of these pieces will come out beautifully. And I do think that, I don't know, I haven't really tried it, but I do think that these straight pieces, if you save them and built up a collection, you could use as crinkle paper in your, when you're doing packages, just crinkle it all up. That would work, wouldn't it? Because I've got quite a pile of it up there with all the cards I've been making today. Right, so What do I need to do next? I'm going to put the card together, I think, and I'm going to stamp in the middle, in the inside of the card, and I'm just going to use the solid bird. There we go. There we go, that's good. I better close it up. I know what I'm like. Right, so let's pop this inside the card, and I'm going to use Tombow. You can use Fast Fuse or our tear and tape, whichever is your preferred adhesive for this. There we go. I love these two colours together. And then I'm going to put this one on my card. Right, now we need to adhere this one to the front. Now what I couldn't understand, I mean I've watched lots of videos today to find out how this has been made, and I couldn't understand why everybody was using our adhesive foam strips, because to me we're only sliding a bit of paper in there, so I would have thought you could just use tear and tape, but I tried it and you can't. You definitely get best results with using our foam adhesive strips. So that's what I'm using. Let's turn that over. And what you need to do is just to put this as close to your edges as possible. I don't know where that bit came from. But let me bring that down so that I can... No, do the side nearest to you, come on. It's not that difficult to think about. And what you might want to do is the bit that we're going to be doing our bird on, you could just lay that on there so that you can see how much room you have and where it's best to put your adhesive strip. Scissors. Okay, so that's that one. Then one line across the bottom. And then one piece across the, down the other side rather. Just pop that there to make sure that I don't go in too far. There we go. Yep, that's good. And that can go back for something else. Right, so that's ready to go on there. So let's do the fun bit, which is the stamping. I don't know if there's anybody else out there like me, kept looking at this set and thinking I didn't really want to learn how to do it. It looked a bit on the complicated side for me. But today I thought, no, come on, you've got to get yourself together on this, you've got to do this. And I'm glad I did. It is surprisingly easy. Right, okay, as I say, I'm going to do the hummingbird, and I am going to do this one first, which is the one that's got the long beak. Okay, this one doesn't have a beak at all. So this is my first one, and this one I'm going to do with my darkest colour, which is going to be my Tranquil Tide. So I'm just going to do this so the bottom comes to about there, and I'm going to try and get it centred. You must get these lines straight if this is going to work properly. And what I do is I use my grid paper, make sure my cardstock is on there in a straight line. In fact, if I do it down this end this time, and then as I put this down, I'm looking at my lines and just looking to side to make sure that it looks straight, which, as you know, me is a bit of a joke really, but let's see, how far down can I come? That far? Let's go up slightly to that one. Right, okay. Let's see how we go. Right, let's look at these straight lines. Don't want it too close to the edge, and I want it about the centre. Okay. So just give that a good pressing. There we go, there's one. With this one, when you line it up, you need to get these lines to go onto the very vanilla bits. You don't want them to go on top of the Tranquil Tide. And the beauty of using photopolymer for this, it is quite easy to position your stamp so that you can't actually see. I mean, where I'm sitting, I can't see the Tranquil Tide through there. And if my head was over that, I would say that's absolutely brilliant. That's spot on what I need. There is an error of margin of error on this, fortunately. But I'm going to try not to get my head over. But if you have a look, also there's an eye there. Can you see half an eye at the top there? You can line it up above that because the eye is going up like that, so it's got to go onto that very vanilla bit above. Right, but I'm going to bring this down to line it up, and then I will bring it up to show you. But you can see me actually, can't you? Right, so without putting my head too far forward, let's have a go at this. Right, get the eyeball. That's about there. And now, so that I can't see the Tranquil Tide lines, well, from where I am, I can see a very small amount of the Tranquil Tide. Good pressing. Oh, wow, look at that. Okay, you see where my lemon lime twist has coloured in the lines in between the Tranquil Tide, and the wing is where it should be, way out, so that's what's going to be flapping as you're pulling this through. So I'm pleased with that. Now I want to do the happy birthday, and what I found is best, the way to do that is I'm going to put this sheet onto my card front, and I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to take that piece off first, and then I'm bending this bit forward so that that's not going to go down and touch there until I'm ready for it to touch down. So I'm going to line this up here, and then when I'm happy that that is straight and it's straight down the sides, then I'm going to press that down. Okay, now I can remove these bits, these cover strips. And then this one. Okay. You saw me earlier brushing my piece because I have hairy bits on mine. So there we go. That looks pretty good to me. So let's slide this in and let's see if it works. It works going up and down. Whoops. Don't forget you haven't got a handle on it yet. Okay. Isn't that absolutely brilliant? Right, so I'm going to put the tab on it first. And what I'm going to do, what colour do I use? I use the background colour, so the background is the Tranquil Tide. Now on those, as I say, the back of it keeps catching on the back down there, on the where the finger notch has been punched out back and front. So I'm not going to do any finger notching on this at all. I'm just going to, this is the tab punch, so I'm just going to punch out one tab slightly over halfway, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, rather than cutting this straight across, I'm cutting that like it's a complete circle. Okay. Now that's fine. Don't worry too much about this. Let's cut that little bit off. Yep, okay. That's good. So I'm just going to pop that onto there, and that'll be my tab. Nothing on the back. So let's use Tombow, which is the right side. Don't think it matters. So I'm only doing the straight bit at the bottom. Let's just get this in the centre here. I'm lining it up on the lines on my grid paper that are out of shot. They're down the bottom here. So that dark line there is the centre. So I'm just going to pop that on there. Okay, so that's going to be a lot easier, just pulling that in and out. Okay. Love it, absolutely love it. Now for the sentiment, I'm going to take a pencil and I'm just going to draw a line there and there, so I know that my sentiment mustn't come any lower than that. Now I'm using the Happy Birthday, which comes from the Better Together stamp set, which is a 2-box set and covers all sorts of events like weddings, all the best, just a note, Christmas, sympathy, and I'm using this one here, New Baby. Okay, so I am going to stamp that right in the centre there. And what colour do I use? The top colour, so that's going to be Lemon Lime Twist. try and get it sort of centred. And I can't really see how straight I am on this. Oh, wow, look at that. There we go, that's fine. So now I can remove the pencil marks. Cover that up. Pop these two pieces together. What did I do, the other piece? That's not clever, is it? Oh. Why do these things always keep disappearing on me? Not there, not there. That's not it. Oh, look at that. Oh, I bet you saw me do that earlier. I threw it away. Right, okay. Or maybe you didn't realise that I was throwing it away. In fact, I shouldn't have said anything, should I? Well, doesn't matter. Right, that's that bit. Now, because I'm not putting all the butterflies on this one, I wonder if maybe I should put this in the centre and then pop it up on dimensionals. Oh, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? That's because it's not got that finger notch out of it. Yes, I'm going to put this on dimensionals. I didn't on the other ones. In fact, where are my dimensionals? Right, excuse me while I just reach across for them. That's it. Oh, that was lucky. So, I think I'll use the bigger ones because that'll only take 4. I really like this music background. I'm not sure I've actually used it before. This could go on an angle. Whoops. Don't do it until you've made up your mind. I think I'll keep it square. So I'm just trying to make sure I got the same amount of gap top as the bottom. And that it's straight, which that doesn't look to be. In fact, I know I'm going to add something else here, which I haven't done to the others. I'm going to put some little white faux stitching around the edge here. It would have been better to do it before I mounted it on here, but this is a last minute change. And what I'm doing is I can see the impression that the die has made on there. So I'm just going to do my lines on there. You can do this freehand if you're confident. I'm not. Right, so that goes down to there. Let's line this up again. Where's that one? That side and that side. No, that's too far away. That's better. I'll do it at the bottom as well. Yeah, I think this is going to help it balance out, because I had been thinking it probably needs something rather than just a sentiment on its own. But I think this is going to work a treat. Okay, let's turn it around this way. I think that's okay. If you don't like the impressions that you get from these dies, this is a good way of hiding them. There we go. Nice little detail. So what do you think of that? It's alright, isn't it? So let's just make sure our hummingbird is still okay. Oh, I love it. Look, it works if you're going up or down. And then when you open right up, you get the happy birthday as well. And as you see, there's absolutely no catching. It's just sliding in and out beautifully every time. So there we go. There's today's project. I'm very happy with changing my mind at the last minute. It's not something I do often because I don't think it's a good idea. Whoops, back. But there you go. It's worked. There was that one, and oh, don't fling them around because they do tend to come flying out. In fact, you could keep this as a single card and you could write your greeting on the back. Or you could, I think, adhere a gift card on the back there, because you've got plenty of room here. I don't know, that's something maybe I'll have to have a look at, see whether that's possible. So there we go, there's the 3 cards from today. I hope you've enjoyed today's project, hope you give it a try. If you have any questions to ask or any comments to make, please leave them in the comments box underneath the video. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, there'll be a link in the box underneath the video that'll take you straight to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. And if you would like to be notified each time I upload a new video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button. Also, if you like new ideas and more inspiration, please visit my blog. It's a daily blog and I normally post a new card every day. And my website is www.jambecards.com. And also in the box below I will list out all the measurements and all the products that I've used, so you don't have to go to my blog if you don't want to. But as I say, there's a new idea there nearly every day, so if you like this, you'll like what you see on my blog too. So please pay me a visit. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.